Welcome to Booze and Ball, a little mini episode. You know me, I'm Todd Webb, and I got a special guest where you guys have met before. This is JB. Welcome, JB.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. We did an episode over the weekend and launched it, but you and I were talking and decided we want to hash some shit out. So I'm going
A little special episode.
hit you with some Q&A here. So I was talking to some people about it, and we were thinking about like those players that you and Dustin and I, DK and I touched on it on the main podcast, but I wanted to dive into it a little bit deeper. Those players that are big enough names where you have them and you feel weird not putting them in your lineup. And then now we're getting to the meat of it where you have the end of the season where you got to win, and then you got playoffs coming or fantasy playoffs coming, not real NFL playoffs. So I have a couple people, like 2 quarterbacks, a couple wide receivers, 2 running backs, something like that I want to run by you and see your trust meter on them. Is it like panic and they stay on the bench? Do you trust keeping them in? Do you try and trade them? Do you just sit them and start a lesser named player? And they're all those guys that are right on the cusp. Obviously, you play Jamar Chase, you play all the big guys, but this is the tier down, the wide receiver 2s, the running back 2s, the quarterback 1s. These are top 10 guys, but how do you feel about them? So what position you want to start with?
I'm going to start with wide receiver. And I'm going to say, and it's going to hurt your feelings a little bit, AJ Brown, sitting him
on the list. and that is, he's one of those guys. And DK and I touched on it, so it'd be nice to get your perspective on it. He's a great wide receiver.
Fantastic. Awesome.
But it's one of those guys, and he's a perfect example. If you drafted him high, so you feel like you keep him in your lineup, because when you don't, you feel like he has one of those great games. But now you have to weigh that. Let's say you're in a 10-man league and you're sitting at 6th place, right on the bubble for the playoffs, or maybe only 4 make the playoffs, and you've got to make a better decision. How do you feel about him going forward?
He's had one 20-point game, I think.
He has
about
22 plus or 22-point game against the Rams in week 3, and he's been single digits other than the Giants. The first time they played the Giants, he didn't play the second time they played them. And then last week, 3.3, but I'm not counting that game because that Green Bay game on Monday night was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, it's a hard game to watch. I think all the primetime games, we talked about on the other podcasts, all the primetime games have been hard to watch.
They're horrible. Now, here's the thing. Let me tell you a schedule coming up for the next 4 or 5 weeks. They got Detroit. They got Dallas. They got Chicago. They got the Chargers. They got Vegas and Washington in the playoffs, in the fantasy playoffs. So are the matchups good enough that you would keep him in, or is he still kind of a panic?
He's right on the cusp for me. It's so hard. I have him on my fantasy team.
The cuspiest guy.
Well, their offense is so high powered. You have to deal with so many guys. And the hard part is that I wish I would have drafted like Dallas Goedert in the 10th round instead of AJ Brown, because there's so many weapons in that offense, and I think he gets a lot of the attention for how good he is. But you still have Saquon in the backfield. I mean, he complained that he wasn't getting the ball and then did really well. And then he's probably, and I'm out of fantasy contention, so this does play a little bit of a factor. I'm terrible. No, I'm not terrible in fantasy. My team has been terrible.
It's been a weird year.
I'm like 1-9, 2-9, 2-8 or something like that. I'm out of playoff contention, but I probably, if I was making fantasy, I probably would sit him right now. Unfortunate to say it, he's a great player, but he just hasn't lived up to the hype this year that I thought he would be.
It's hard to say like you're going to sit him, and we can probably use the same reference point to like, because technically he's actually only in your standard PPR with no frills, no bonuses. He's only wide receiver 39, which says you should bench him. But if you go a little bit above him, like let's say wide receiver 23, it's Troy Franklin for the Broncos. So do you trust him more than AJ Brown? That's the weird part that you got to think about.
I trust AJ Brown down the line a lot more.
I like his playoff matchups, Washington and Vegas.
And those aren't strong teams, but those aren't strong teams in the sense that their defenses aren't very strong on the run game or anything like that. So you could just hammer Saquon all day.
Disappear just because of the game script.
Yeah, I think just because of the game script, I think he possibly could have some good games against the Lions and stuff, because I think the Lions great team, by the way. I think they're very well coached. That he could have some breakout performances against the Lions, probably the Bears, because they're gonna probably stack the box a little more and make you want to throw the ball. And hopefully AJ gets open. I mean, I was hoping he got a touchdown late in that game on that fourth quarter throw, on that fourth down throw.
He lost a lot of parlays for people.
Yeah. AJ Brown's been very tough for me this year. He's a good player. In the past, he's been a stud. I think the MVP though for the Eagles this year has been Dallas Goedert.
He has been. He has been a great, and he went as a tight end 2 in most drafts. Like he was not drafted as early as people expected. But
I mean, they have so many weapons. It's hard.
The problem is anyone could go off. That's the problem with high-powered offense. It's just like
the Ravens too. There's so many weapons.
If Zay Flowers has a great game, then odds are their running game's not having the same game.
Or Mark Andrews has 3 touchdowns, and you're like, the defense sucks.
Then no other wide receivers got anything.
Or sorry, the defense. Yeah, the running back sucks, or the receiver sucks because Mark Andrews has 2 touchdowns.
So I mentioned Troy Franklin. Let me stick in Denver for a second. Now, this wide receiver is ranked higher at currently wide receiver 17. Cortland Sutton. He has disappeared. Now, I mean, I almost put Bo Nix on this list, but I didn't because I do like the matchups going forward. I think Sutton has good matchups, but he's been one of those guys where you drafted to be a potential wide receiver 1. And now I'm coming down in a must win, and I'm trying to decide, like, Troy Franklin has been outperforming him some weeks. Do I start someone like, Rome Odunze over him? Do I start Devonta Smith in that offense over him? Cortland Sutton's one of those guys that, like, I don't know how to feel about him. He's one game over 20 points. Half the other games are right around mid-teens. And here, let me give you his schedule real quick. They have a bye week in week 12, so you're going to bench him then, obviously. But then they got Kansas City this week, a bye week. Then they got Washington, Vegas, Green Bay, Jacksonville, and then Kansas City in the fantasy championship for most of them. So his schedule isn't bad. But, I mean, he hasn't, against Dallas, he scored 10, against Philly, 17, against the Bengals, 19, 1 against the Colts. He's been so low. 2 against the Jets, 5.4 against Vegas. So is he a guy that you can confidently sit saying that he's going to take your team to the playoffs? Or is he a guy where you're going to look down there and say, I'll start Rome Odunze, I'll start Devonta Smith. Hell, I'll start Quentin Johnston if he keeps performing.
Hey, Quentin Johnston, he couldn't catch last year, and he's pretty good this year.
I know. So many people dropped him in dynasty.
But then the problem is that he hasn't showed up the last couple of weeks. He's been I have him on another fantasy team. He's been very quiet. He was hot. Quentin Johnston was hot at the beginning of the year. He was on cooking.
But that's why I use him as a reference. He's an easy one to say, I'm going to put him on my bench and start a more reliable guy. I'm just not sure is Cortland Sutton, because he's ranked every week to be one of the top receivers, and he has underperformed 65% of the time. So it makes it really, he's one of those guys. I am scared to take him. Like, I'm going to start Tet McMillan above him in leagues because I feel like Tet he hasn't scored as many fantasy points, but I feel like he doesn't disappear as much. And he's in a way worse offense.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a hard decision for me. I think Cortland's been non-existent. And if you're looking at, like, he didn't do that well against the Raiders, how well is he going to do against them again? I think he might show up more towards the playoffs, especially playing some more of they play the Chiefs this weekend.
Like, this is a fine weekend to bench him this weekend.
I think so too.
And then he has a bye. So then you got 2 weeks without him. So hopefully you have someone to weather the storm. And then after that, I feel pretty confident. Washington, Vegas, and then you got Green Bay for week 1 of the fantasy playoffs. So he's a toughie. He's one of those ones where I'm having a hard time. I'm not sure if maybe I want to quick try and trade him come the deadline. Maybe get some running back help or something. Trade him, go down the list. Go get, like, maybe Khalil Shakir or Nico Collins or someone.
We're looking for the guys that are super high targets too, and he just hasn't had the target number.
No.
For me, it's also the big thing about their offense is their run game has been hot as of late. Nix is running a lot more. RJ Harvey has really taken over that team as the true RB1.
Which I think he could be, depending on what happens with J.K. Dobbins' ankle, RJ Harvey could realistically end up winning you some fantasy leagues because you did not pick him up until later. And
He's like that. He's like the Manungai, the Vidal type of guys. The same style build, the same style output, a lot of speed. It's just, I feel like this fantasy season, guys have either had 0 points or 30 points per game. There's like no in between.
It's been a very weird league for the top guys to just very weird year for the top guys to just disappear this year.
Yeah, I mean the guys that have been stepping up this year, or CMC, who everybody was afraid to draft because of his injuries. Injuries, knock on wood, not only my fantasy team, but I don't want to jinx anybody. And then you got Gibbs has performed out well. I mean, Saquon, man, where's Saquon been this year?
I almost put him on this list, but I don't think there's anybody with the matchups they have moving forward. I don't think there's any way that you could bench Saquon. He's not. You can't even question. He's one of those guys that you drafted, and you're going to start him even if he kills you. You can't bench him. AJ Brown, I could understand benching, but him, I can't justify it. He's either too good.
Jalen takes too many touchdowns away from him as well with the
Yeah, and like you said
push
about RJ Harvey. I was going to ask you this too. Is like a move that I feel could win you a fantasy league. If you haven't, most of your trade deadlines are this week or next week for fantasy. Go get RJ Harvey because Dobbins has a foot injury and they are still deciding whether or not to put him on IR. I say you take the risk now. You trade whatever because his value is still low. As soon as Dobbins goes on IR, his value goes up. Trade him right now before the deadline. Move a piece. Get RJ Harvey, and he could potentially be a beast come fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, I think I'm doing the same thing as AJ Brown. I'm sitting Cortland Sutton. I hate to say it. They're both good. They're both great players, but they just had some off years. And Sutton started out pretty well too, but he has just been lackluster since.
I was gonna go 2 more wide receivers, but it's real quick. We won't go into depth.
You can always come back to it.
But DK Metcalf and Garrett Wilson are those guys where you drafted and you want to start them, and they're very easy to bench right now. So
DK at the beginning was great,
yeah,
but their offense, the Steelers' offense has gone straight downhill.
I'm worried about him, Aaron Rodgers.
No recovering. Yeah, Steelers have been for what a team that looked like the real deal to all of a sudden you're like scratching your head like what happened? Their defense is still playing great. They looked great, and
I thought they were going to run away with the division. When Lamar got hurt, I thought, okay, Steelers are going to run away with this division. Lamar's hurt. Burrow's hurt. Cleveland is a shit show.
Should start to shudder. But I think we talked about it on your podcast a couple weeks ago, and the Steelers had an easy schedule to start and have had a harder schedule since, and the Ravens had a harder schedule to start and easier schedule towards the end. So I don't think the Steelers were primed to play those good teams, like ready value wise to play those teams.
I mean, they were one.
They played great against. Short. Yeah, that's what we. Garrett Wilson, man, or sorry, George Pickens. Why did you trade him?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Because you and I talked about it before. They thought Roman Wilson was going to be a guy, and he just kind of hasn't been anything. So I don't think they have a wide receiver too, which I think kills DK Metcalf. So I'm benching DK Metcalf and I'm benching Garrett Wilson. It's like 2 guys.
Yeah, the Jets have been bad, man.
2 guys I drafted early. But all right, so we mentioned the wide receiver. I mean the running back when you said Dobbins. Let's talk about 2 running backs, I think. Both of our top 15 guys. I'll start with the lesser, DeAndre Swift.
Ooh,
with Manungai. Now he came back and then he got the start. So
Swift's got the start.
Swift got the start when he came back. So let me pull it up here. He's currently running back 15. So you're going to start him as your RB2.
Okay.
But my thing is, even though he got the start, do you think he keeps it enough to get you to the fantasy playoffs? I'll tell you. Let me tell you his matchups real quick, just so you know.
Swifty, okay.
The Bengals this week. Oh no, he's got the Minnesota.
I was about to say they already played the Bengals.
Yeah. Minnesota.
So Minnesota,
Pittsburgh,
okay.
Philadelphia, Green Bay, Cleveland, Green Bay, San Francisco. They have very hard. They have all top 50% defenses. for the rest of the season. So
and they gotta play the Vikings twice too, right?
they play Minnesota. No, they play Green Bay twice.
Oh, Green Bay twice.
They play
Okay.
Green Bay twice.
Minnesota once. Did they play the Lions twice already?
Nah, they played Detroit week 3. They played Minnesota week 1.
Okay, so they still have to play Detroit, Minnesota, and the Packers twice.
Mm-hmm.
I am sitting DeAndre Swift.
Now, are you sitting him because you're worried because he's going to lose touches to Monangai as well, or just strictly on matchup?
Yeah, that too. Matchup's a big part of that one. I think the guys that the teams that they play have such great D lines. I mean, Derrick Henry did pretty well against the Vikings D line, but he also had some not some good runs. But I think their D line is very good. Detroit's been hit or miss on there, but the Packers D line, at least in the run game, has been really, really good this season. It's gotten better as the season's gone on.
Yeah, I think the matchups are tough for him in general. And I mean, he came back after being out, and Monangai went for 170 some yards, and he came back and he had 62% snap share. But I am still worried that he's only going to be 60%, and 60% against those teams means I'm benching Swift. And I'm not benching him for Monangai. I'm benching him for other people in that ballpark, like
which are
Jalen Warren, maybe Quinshawn Judkins, RJ Harvey. I would start RJ Harvey over him.
Judkins has been he started out his couple of first weeks great. I picked him up. He has been lackluster since.
Yeah, and he did deal with some injury, so I still think I would honestly start him above Swift just because of that.
Okay, I'm going to say right now, go pick up Travion Henderson if you're a fantasy owner right now, and he is still available. Pick him up. He
absolutely. I was starting
showed
him.
up last weekend against the Bucks. Yeah, I'd start him over a lot of guys right now.
He basically said, "What the hell have you been doing? Giving the ball to Stevenson so much."
Playing fumble guy, Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, Mr. Fumble himself.
No, but I could say this about Swift, though. Depending how the next 3 weeks go, you could be starting Monangai in fantasy playoffs. Because they could say, hey, we're out of it. Let's see what this rookie's got in a full workload against good defenses. So
it's going to be an interesting NFC North to begin with, regardless. I think the Bears have been a lot better than I thought they'd be.
They are definitely better than I thought they'd be.
Way better than I thought they'd be. And is it coaching? Is it player? I don't know. But
they have enough
I think it's
weapons.
coaching. I think it's Ben Johnson.
I think it's coaching.
But yeah. I mean, the whole division has been fantastic this year. It's gonna be interesting coming down the wire who you'd like to pick up, Monangai or Swift. I'd probably lean toward Monangai because of the snap count recently, and just you go from not playing that much to now having 160 yards in your last game. It's gonna be tough to sit him as a coach and ownership.
So I do think it's coaching, and I was gonna go to the other running back, but I'm gonna stick with the Bears because this is the guy that I am. He's quarterback 9. Same matchups, okay. Caleb Williams. So he's quarterback 9. He's been good, but he has had weeks where he's got 12 points, 5 points, 12 points, 17, 19. You want over 20 points from a quarterback, especially coming down the stretch.
100%. Yeah, you want that.
So do you think those D-lines in those matchups, like you said, they started out, they looked really good. But do you think playing all these lines, you're going to see Caleb Williams shine, or are you going to see Caleb Williams lose you the shot at the playoffs or the playoffs?
It's a 50-50 for that one as well. And I only say this because they're going to be playing some really good teams. Well, they have to score a shit ton of points, probably. So you're going to have to throw a lot. But if you throw a lot, you also have the chance for Caleb to throw some not so great interceptions. I think this year in the interception category, he's taken a big leap forward as he's been the last couple years.
100% better with protection.
And he's using his legs in scenarios he should versus throwing the ball away, which But I think for him, regardless, he's a tough one. I would say.
Well, let me give you a couple hypotheticals real quick then. So he's quarterback 9, and this is based on PPR. No bonus points, straight PPR. You don't get bonus points for 40 yards, this and that, 40-yard passes, touchdowns. So he's number 9. I'm going to drop down a couple people, and you tell me if you like him. So let's say Baker Mayfield. You starting Caleb or Baker Mayfield to finish out the year?
Baker Mayfield. He's so good. He's been. I wish his team didn't get hurt. He's been really good this year.
Without those 2 weeks where they were banged up, he was in the MVP. We talked about it, him being in the MVP conversation.
If Jonathan Taylor doesn't win MVP, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna blow a blood vessel. He has been unfreaking believable this year.
He's on par to do exactly what Saquon did last year and then lose the MVP.
Probably. I mean, he went to freaking England and put up nuclear numbers. I mean, there was a highlight of him with his one touchdown getting swallowed up in the line and then turning around saying, "Nope, 80 yards for a touchdown." But drink break. What you drinking over there?
I'm going with something. I don't know. I wanted something simple, little lower proof. It only comes in at 92 because I got to be up early in the morning. But Angel's Envy Triple Oak. Angel's Envy was one of the bourbons that I started drinking when I got into bourbon early on, just because it was easy, and I like the port finishes that they did with Regular's Angel Envy and everything. Triple Oak, I like it because it doesn't taste like it's Triple Oak. It's not as oaky as what you would expect. Yeah. It's way lighter than I expected, but it's an easy drinker for me. And on a Wednesday night when we were filming this, that's what I needed. What are you drinking?
Yeah. I am drinking the Bardstown Discovery Series number 11. One of my favorite Bardstown Discovery Series. I got
you've talked about it a few
actually
times.
Yeah, it's so good. I actually have 13 sitting over here for tomorrow's Thursday Pick My Poor Thursday video. But 11's one of my favorites. I'm a Wild Turkey fanboy. It has a lot of turkey juice in it, and that's it's really nice.
You said to me it's a blend of quite a few different things.
It's a blend of 70% 13-year Wild Turkey, 10-year at about 20%, 20-ish%, Jim Beam, and then a 6-year high wheat from Bardstown themselves for about 6%. So it's got a nice turkey, then some Jim Beam like nuttiness, and then it goes into that sweetness from the wheat.
And Bardstown's high wheat is definitely a sweet wheat.
Oh, it's fantastic! Yeah, one of my favorites.
Awesome. So okay.
Did you try? Speaking of the Angel's Envy, there's a new version of it that Will was talking about that you might have to try. Because he didn't like regular Angel's Envy, but this new port they have or new kind of finish he really liked.
He said it was a tawny port.
Tawny, that's what it was.
I think so. Yeah, I heard him talking about it, and I kind of want to try and find that. Again, I'm in PA, so we'll see if that fucking happens or not.
Yeah.
All right, real quick. All right, so okay, I'm not gonna say. I mean, okay, he's 12. Jared Goff or Caleb Williams.
Jared Goff.
Jordan Love or Caleb Williams.
That's definitely a lot harder than Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield.
I have Jordan Love on my I don't know if I trust him list. He's my do I panic if he's my only option list. And a lot of this
Let's just say this.
If you have to run these guys, are you scared? That's basically the question we're asking.
Yeah, I'm a little scared for Jordan Love. I'm scared for Caleb Williams too. He just doesn't have neither of them have the experience, at least in that division. You got actually Jared Goff's the only guy that has at least some experience. He has a decent amount of experience. I mean, he went to Super Bowl.
I'm glad you said that because that'll bring my next guy. Sam Darnold has the experience, playing well. Do you start him over Caleb Williams and Jordan Love for all intents and purposes moving forward?
I'm starting Sam over both of them.
Let me see what they're. If you want to make your point, go ahead. I'm going to quickly pull up and see what their matchups are.
I think Sam. We talked about this many times. Getting out in New York has been super hot. I'm picking Sam Darnold. JSN has been elite this year as well.
Amazing.
I think in the future, maybe next year or however the Seattle wants to do it, they need to get rid of Kenneth Walker. He just hasn't been that great. I'd rather have Charbonnet, and it's been tough between those two to figure out which one to pick up.
I love that take, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. And
I think was it Thornton will take that next step as the wide receiver 2, but they kind of need a better tight end wide receiver 2 or 3 next year. And I think you could trade Kenneth Walker for that guy, kind of go out and get someone that can give JSN's cooking with like not much help, and Sam Darnold has looked pretty damn good this year. But I think
they did trade for Raheem.
They could turn it up.
So, but
I forgot about Rashid.
I don't know if I like him as a true wide receiver 2, though. I like the idea of getting rid of Kenneth Walker. I would almost.
But you ought to realize that JSN's mainly in the slot.
Yeah.
Rashid's your fast guy. and you got a decent rounder with Thornton. So you're not looking too bad. I forgot they traded for Shaheed. He's been he's a good all-around guy too, special teams as well.
I definitely like getting rid of Kenneth Walker. I think that they have Damian Martinez coming up, and they have Charbonnet, who I like. I would almost say I liked what I've seen in the small sample size from Torrey Horton, the little wide receiver they have.
The Horton, Thornton.
So
okay,
if you can't trade for a premier wide receiver too, then I think you solidify your offensive line to give some more time. But I think, for sure. I think they're heading in the right direction. But yeah, so Sam
NFC's been awesome this year, by the way.
Darnold's got the Rams, the Titans, the Vikings, the Falcons, the Colts, the Rams, and then the Panthers. So I think I like his schedule enough where I would say at 100% I would start him over Caleb Williams or Jordan Love.
Jordan Love's been, the Packers have been frauds this year. I hate to say it. We talked about it on our Games at Mash podcast. They've been a nightmare.
All right, so I got one more. Let's go. We'll start with the running back. And it's a rookie running back who is looking good. And now you feel like you can keep him in your lineup with Ashton Genty. So he's looked good. He's playing a lot more consistent. They're giving him the ball more. He's looking like he's actually kind of adapted to the role. He's standing up because it's funny when they started the season, we talked about his stance was leaning over. Yeah. Now he stands straight up and he seems more comfortable. Now, granted, they suck.
I think it's a comfortability thing. Yeah, I mean they weren't. Gino's not the best either, and their O-line is shit too. Their O-line is so bad.
So my thing is, like, he's been good. He's been startable, and I think you can start him as a wide receiver too, borderline wide receiver 1, depending on what your matchups are. The question is, do you keep him? Do you trust him the rest of the year? Are they going to be out of it and bench him, or are they going to let the rookie run? Their matchups for the next 5-6 weeks are the Cowboys, the Browns, the Chargers, the Broncos, Philly, Houston, and then the Giants in the fantasy Super Bowl. To me, it's borderline. I'd have a hard time because he has decent matchups. I'd say he's 50-50. 50 good, 50 bad.
Yeah, he has some because he has what? He has the Giants and the Eagles, so that's a wash.
Mm-hmm.
He's got
to get to the playoffs, he's got Dallas, Cleveland, Chargers, and then the Broncos.
The Cleveland's hard, so I probably would sit him that week. The was it the Broncos? Broncos are the hit or miss.
They're week 14, the week that says whether you make the playoffs or not. And then the playoffs are hard. You got Philly week 1, Houston, and the Giants.
Houston's O-line or D-line's pretty good. They're not as great at stopping the run. I mean, they are pretty good at stopping the run.
But my fear with him is, like, if I can move him now to a team that is more borderline than me, I would say I'm willing to trade Genty now because my fear is if they're out of it and they shut him down.
I don't know if they'll shut him down. I just don't think that. Yeah,
he's not starting. So to me, I'm at the panic meter with him where I'm like, hey, right now I got him on name, not in a dynasty league, but in a redraft league. He's playing well. You got a team that's maybe sitting at 8, and it's like could make the playoffs with some weak running backs. Move him, get some wide receiver help.
Yep, or like a nice tight end or something.
Get yourself. I think to me, my panic meter is enough that I'm worried about the team more than him, and I think he's a great person to trade right now on value and how he's playing to a team that thinks, oh, I need a running back and he's doing really good. Take advantage of the novice in your fantasy league.
I think Genty
to say, but take advantage of him.
I think Genty's been up and down. It's a rookie season for him, and I'm interested to see where not only the Raiders go trying to bolster an O-line, what they do with Gino.
They need a quarterback. I don't love Gino. I think Gino is holding them back. He's good, but he's like
the Raiders haven't had a good quarterback in a while, man. It's hard. It's hard to see for Raiders fans. But
Gino's like a Black Fitzpatrick, good enough. And
but not gonna get you wins when you need him to.
And a journeyman, but he's not your answer. And I think they need an answer.
Well, they also this is my other issue with the Raiders as well. Is I know they were kind of like they're done, so they traded away Jacoby Myers, and
it was 50-50 on that.
Yeah, I mean, well, but like Trey Tucker's like one game and you're like, holy crap, this guy's awesome, and then the rest of the season he's been terrible. And then Their O-line's just not good. I mean, and pretty much,
They need
if you think
O-line.
about it right now, right, they need O-line and they need some receivers because you can't throw the ball to Brock Bowers on every single play. He's been a little banged up this year. Michael Mayer's a decent 2, but not a great 2.
Well, then their early rookie pick, Zach Besh, doesn't even play. They got some young talent. They just don't have an offensive line.
Yeah,
that's how I break it down to.
Oh, I mean, if you snap the ball and you have guys in your face already, I mean, you're kind of screwed. There's nothing you can really do about that.
That's why I say if you can find someone who's going to say Ashton Genty on name and what he's done, trade him. Get rid of him right now.
Yeah.
And get something that's going to get you to the playoffs.
Yep.
Last guy I got, and I love to talk shit on this guy. Not quite as much as I love talking shit on Caleb Williams, because I know you haven't followed us, but if you will go back to our episodes, and on our podcast, you're allowed to drink, swear, and make fun of people and call people names. We're not.
It's booze and then balling.
We are not censored, and we want to be that podcast. But Dak.
Ooh,
Dak is a very big question mark for me right now. Now he's wide receiver. He's quarterback 10. He's right on the cusp of a QB1 on a 10-man league. He's a QB1 on a 12-man league. Their schedule to finish out the year is Vegas.
Jeez.
They got Vegas. That's easy.
Okay.
But then they got Philly. They got Kansas City. They got Detroit. They got Minnesota. And then they got the Chargers and Washington, assuming you get that far into the playoffs. But he has a very hard matchup. Javonte Williams has been a beast, and they've been relying heavy on the run game. Do you feel like Dak Prescott gets you to the playoffs if you have him as your number 1 quarterback?
No.
Now, here's
Dak can't even succeed in the own playoffs, let alone help me win my fantasy league.
So he's one position behind Caleb Williams. I'm going to ask you the same question. Dak or Baker?
Baker.
Dak or Goff? That's a little tighter, but I still think I lean towards
It is tighter.
Goff.
I think it's still Goff. But the problem, the biggest issue with Dak or Goff is that the run game is such an elite thing for the Lions that he might have 125 yards and 15 throws.
True.
Because Monty carries a lot of the weight, and then Gibbs just run for 3 touchdowns, and you're like, okay, well, this is over.
Well, here's the matchups for Goff, let's say, getting to the fantasy playoffs. You got Philly this weekend, this Sunday night, which they will give up. They're going to give up some big plays. It's going to be, I'm expecting a great game. Then you got the Giants.
There's a lot of great games this weekend as well.
Then you got Green Bay, who are susceptible to passing. So, and then you got Dallas, and then you're in the fantasy playoffs. So I think Goff has such great matchups. I would start him above Dak.
I'd still go Goff over Dak, for sure.
Sam Darnold, do that one.
Sam Darnold over Dak. I think just how they've played this season, I'm still probably going to go Sam Darnold.
I would agree with you. And I'll hit one more just because it's a weird one.
That one's a tough one.
Any 49ers quarterback, Mac Jones or Purdy, over Dak rest of season?
I think I'm going to take Dak on that one.
Do you want to hear the matchups first? Cardinals, Panthers, Browns, bye Tennessee to get you to the playoffs. Other than the bye week, and Cleveland's actually better than a lot of people think they are. This Niners
Cleveland's defense is another level of defensively.
Right.
But their offense is so bad.
Is very easy for the 49ers. So are you
and
saying
who would they play in the
playoffs?
Who would they play in the playoffs? Yep.
Tennessee week 15, Colts week 16, and then the Bears week 17. It's tight, right? But I think to get me to the playoffs, I would lean towards Mac Jones or Purdy over Dak.
It definitely depends, Mac Jones or Purdy. I think, dude, Mac's been a warrior this season. I mean, I remember watching that Thursday night game.
I have them both, and I have to wait till game time.
Wait, 6'7"?
No, we have to end the podcast.
I hate that. I hate it. I can't stand it.
That deserves a drink. So, anytime we bring up the name Taylor Swift on Booze and Ballin', we drink. We talk about anything that comes up with her. We stop. We used to do shots, but we realized we can't function at the end of an hour.
You can't really talk after that.
We made on our live Friday night. We made 3 different shot bets. All right, so we have that just shows you really how this fantasy season has been. It's you can't.
Well, the
trust
NFC,
a lot of people.
the NFC as a whole has been tough this season.
Yes,
I will say it's been way better to watch than the AFC has this season.
So who's your Super Bowl as of today?
Right this current moment.
It's tough in the NFC.
The NFC has a lot of players, and the AFC kind of stinks.
Is it New England in the AFC? Or do you?
I don't think that. So as much as I think the Colts and the Patriots are great, they still haven't both shown me like the Patriots beat the Bucks, great, but the Bucks were very injured, so that's a tough one for me on who actually.
Yeah, they beat the Bucks at a great time.
Yeah, the Bucks have been too banged up.
Oh, timeout! I almost put Danny Dimes on this list.
Okay. I have Danny Dimes as my QB, and he was great for a while. He's been
worried that his new trend is old Danny Dimes. Does it scare you at all?
Mm-hmm.
It does me.
I own him in 2 leagues, and I think he's been great. In the last couple weeks, though, I'm like, geez.
You're a little panic.
I will say they didn't play great. They played off against the Steelers. And he didn't do bad against Falcons in London. Falcons? Yeah. I think it was Falcons in London. The resurgence there, though, is that Jonathan Taylor went disgusting last weekend. So you're not really going to get many points because Jonathan Taylor's running the ball 80 yards for a touchdown.
Jonathan Taylor's greatness hurts Daniel Jones's.
It does for fantasy.
For sure.
Yep. And I don't know. Daniel Jones is a hit or miss. He was fantastic for the first couple of weeks, but they're starting to play a harder competition, and it's showing.
So do you think the Bills or the Chiefs rise up and take over the AFC, or do you think it's? I mean, my top 4 are probably the New England. You got to say the Colts, and then I'm going to say top 3 is either going to be either the Bills or the Chiefs. I'm not 100% sure yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm biased as a Ravens fan.
Ravens are a sleeper. I would put some money on that, honestly, to make the Super Bowl. I think you got decent odds.
Well, the AFC is just not great as a whole. So you're like,
there's a lot of flaws.
There's a lot of flaws because you got the Dolphins beating the Bills, and you're kind of like, wait, what? The Dolphins just got murdered by the Ravens. So that makes no sense.
Remember, I was out on the Dolphins on Game Set Mash.
You were like, sell the Dolphins, and I was like, you got to start selling teams because they show up.
I would like every one of those fans to just DM me personally and say thank you.
Yeah.
That's all my fault. Damn. It's a tough one.
I'm trying to think. Like, is there? Because like the NFC or AFC South, no one's going to have a chance. That's going to be. I mean, the Jags are the best team.
If you can label them that.
But in that division, though,
true.
Oh, sorry. Second best team. Like they got the Colts, but they're like. Honestly, I think the matchup could be, and I think if the Lions can continue to run the ball, I think the NFC is going to be between, and hold me on this, the Lions and either the Rams or the Eagles.
Those are my top 3 in the NFC. Easily my top 3 in the NFC.
And so I could see one of those going in. The AFC, that one's a little harder. I think it could be in that kind of. The Chiefs have been so bad this year, and so the Bills. But I think the Ravens have reasserted. I don't know. My top 3 is probably New England, the Colts, and like a combination of the Ravens, Chiefs, Bills. But I think I'm waiting to see.
I'm going to say for me, it's the Patriots.
The Broncos have been great this year too, but who they played, that's my other thing.
I would love to. Don't get me wrong.
I'm waiting to see the matchup this weekend between the Chiefs and the Broncos because I think is the Broncos going to kill them? Is it going to be a good game? I think it's divisional, so it's going to be good. Yeah, and it's going to tell me a ton.
That'll tell me a lot. All right, one more fantasy question before we sign off of this. I want to
the old kicker.
kicker and defense. I want to just you generally, how do you approach it? So there's two different techniques. People will go early and pick up Brandon Aubrey, and then they'll pick up like the Eagles or the Broncos defense, and they'll ride them all year. That's strategy one. Or are you a believer in the rotating technique where you stream a kicker and a defense every week? Now, I do both in my leagues. Depending on my leagues and depending how my league format is, I will pick, and depending how my league's drafting too. If my league's drafting like assholes, I'll go pick up Brandon Aubrey. I'll pick up like good defenses.
Right.
If my league is drafting smartly, I'm going to take positional players and I stream my defenses every week. Do you have a technique that you prefer?
I kind of ride the hot hand for fantasy, at least kicking and defenses. My defenses that I've been kind of not alter changing, but just like picking up because of buys. I've been riding the Colts. Colts defense has been pretty good. I think their defense was good regardless. They haven't showed it, but I think also like the one that I'm thinking about was the Colts versus the Steelers, where the Steelers had the ball the entire game, so you're going to lose points there.
Right.
My big sleeper this year was the Vikings. For a while, they had some great points. I mean, they had 2 pick sixes at one game. I've pretty much had Loop and Dicker the kicker the entire season. For my 2 different leagues, they've been good, and they have both. Like, I hate to say about the Ravens, but they have teams where they don't always capitalize on the touchdown, so it's easy to pick those two up.
Yeah, you want a team that has bad red zone percentage, and then you're good. So,
and I hate to say it's the Ravens, but yeah, so I'm kind of normally keeping the kickers. I'm worrying more about positional players and those different things, but the Colts have been my team, my good luck charm, at least for defenses, with the Vikings kind of interchanging, and then Loop and Dicker have been my 2 kickers for my 2 leagues.
I'm all for that. I'm all for if you got a hot defense. It's like last year I streamed, and then all of a sudden the Eagles caught on and they were playing great, so then I kept them, and then I didn't stream every week. But the way I look at it is, if I'm in a league that has auction money or limited pickups, I draft a defense. I draft 1 defense, 1 kicker, and then I draft one of those positions as my bye week pickup. And I run it. But if I'm in a regular league that has unlimited waivers, I stream my kicker and defense every week. I go based on matchup. I go based on who's kicking in a dome. I go based on weather.
It's a good one.
And then I go based on, obviously, like you say, okay, these teams have the bad offenses or they've got a backup quarterback in. I try and stream that defense. Kicker is based on weather, location. And again, defenses too, like you said.
Defenses match up a lot of times.
But I'm a firm believer in get your value in your picks early, which is why when you ask like these guys, like the list of, are you worried about AJ Brown? You worried about this? In most of my leagues, I'm deep enough where I might have that Troy Franklin. I might have that backup player to put in there because I'm streaming defenses every week, which is kind of why I got to that point. That's the benefit of when you do fantasy. If you're willing to take the risk of streaming kicker and defense, you add 1 or 2 roster positions to your bench, assuming you don't have roster limits. You add 1 or 2 positions to your bench, which allows you to panic on people, but not drop them.
Yeah, most leagues are 5 or 6 players. I always keep a backup QB in there just to kind of depending on matchup.
I've done that too. I stream a QB. I have 1 league I've streamed a QB.
It's funny too, because you look at you look at your bench a lot of times, and it's upsetting too, because you see guys that put up 20 points when your guy that's in that position that you could have played that guy instead.
Do you ever play in a league where bench points 20 count?
Points? I wish. That'd be a good idea. I think it's
if you get in that best ball
total
league,
points for the whole.
There's been the tiebreaker is, I've been in leagues where if you tie, this tiebreaker
bench points.
Is bench points. I've been in leagues where bench points matter. Tiebreakers end of season instead of standings. It's not score. It's that.
Okay.
But best ball leagues are the great, because then you just draft the team and they play with your best players.
Right.
Then
I got one question for you. Can you pull up Stefon Diggs?
Can I pull up Stefon Diggs? Absolutely. Can I pull up Stefon Diggs?
I want to see what your take would be. on who they're playing and are you starting him or not? Because he's been better as of late in their offense.
He's wide receiver 19 on the season.
Okay, it's not bad.
So yeah, he's got coming up for the next. I like hit me with some stuff. The weird thing is they got a bye week 14, so that worries me. The week that you need, go figure. But they got the Jets, the Bengals, and the Giants. So leading up to playoffs, I'm definitely playing.
Yeah, that's a hard one because I have in that same league. I have Diggs and I have AJ Brown. Who are you starting? Because
I would probably start Diggs. Just I like the potential.
He's been better as of late. Diggs, I think Diggs is like he got you tear your ACL, you lose that speed, and you lose the understanding of speed.
Okay, so that's to get to playoffs. Now here's the play up after the week 14 bye. The Bills, the Ravens, and then the Jets in the week 15, 16, 17 versus week 15, 16 for AJ Brown are Vegas and Washington. So if I had them both, I would play Diggs to get me 11, 12, 13
to the playoffs,
and then I would probably switch to AJ Brown.
Yeah, AJ's hard though because you're playing against the Commanders who are banged up and the Raiders, right? The Raiders.
Vegas, yeah. So I would switch to AJ Brown in the playoffs, but I wouldn't play.
But it's hard because I would probably favor the run game.
That's true.
Yeah, I'd favor the run game. That's the hard part.
See,
yeah.
This is the
fantasy
is
yeah.
This is why we're having this episode. This is how you panic. This is exactly what happens. Like, who do you trust coming down the line? Honestly, sometimes I would trust more T. Higgins over some of these guys just because of how the offense functions.
T's been one of Joe's favorite targets recently.
And Joe's practicing again.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we'll see.
I'm a little worried as a Ravens fan if he's gonna the Thanksgiving.
I traded him away for Derrick Henry, so you'd be proud of me.
Good job, buddy. I'm so proud of you.
I traded Burrow away for Derrick Henry and Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. And then I gave the guy a late pick. Because it's a keeper league. He wanted to keep Joe Burrow in a super flex. He wanted to keep him.
Okay.
But I got Purdy and Mac Jones. So whoever starts they got great end of season. And then I got Derrick Henry. So I'm to pair with Lamar. So I'm happy.
Yeah. Derrick's one of those guys too that Lamar either has 4 passing touchdowns or Derrick has 3 rushing touchdowns. There's no in between.
One more thing and then we're going to stop. But I got in an argument. It's funny you said that. I got in an argument with my buddy. He thought the smartest thing he did was draft Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry because of the power of their offense and scoring. I said, you are limiting your red zone touchdowns because they both can't score. I said, I love a stack.
That or Hill gets a touchdown, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I love a stack. Yeah. I love a wide receiver stack with a quarterback because you can get points for both. But stacking...
that happened last year a lot with Josh Allen and James Cook.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know who's getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate that stack, and he swore this is going to be the reason he wins the league. He's not doing too well. But I said, you got a running quarterback and a running back. I said, just like Jalen Hurts steals the touchdowns from Saquon Barkley, I said, only one of them can score. Now, if you did, not saying he's the same level, but if you did Flowers and Lamar, you at least have the potential to get points twice on a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's hard, too, because you want to pick like the best available players, but the best available players may be on the same team. And it's hard to... because I
hate to match teams unless it's Burrow Chase or it's Amon-Ra and Goff. Like I don't match.
That's the problem though, is that like AJ Brown Amon-Ra St. Brown has been good, but JMO had a great game, right? Jameson Williams, and then same vice versa with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. T. Higgins has been getting those like 45-yard, 50-yard touchdowns recently,
right?
Which is helping his numbers. And he's just a big physical target. So, yeah. Who's your Super Bowl matchup? Last one.
My Super Bowl matchup is... It's weird to say. I want to say it's the Lions. I'm an Eagles fan, and I think they can do it. Monday morning, ask me again. But as of right now, today, I'm going to say it's the Lions... It's the Lions and the Patriots.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
I just really like... I think what they did with TreVeyon Henderson changes
They kind of
the way their
unleashed.
game
They
is.
unleashed Travion. I know
Because
we're closing off.
he's way better, and I think that he makes that team better because now they have a real dual threat running back that they've got to focus on, and I think their wide receivers are good. So
yeah,
I want to say it's a shot.
Their
in the
tight
dark.
end's good too.
Yeah. Oh, Henry,
Henry's great.
Waiver wire hero every damn year.
Last thing, who is your guy you're picking up right this second on the who's available? What's your guy?
I said it, RJ Harvey.
RJ Harvey.
Because I think they put J.K. Dobbins on IR. They're talking about it, and they got a stud rookie. And depending, you also get some return yards for him, which I really like.
That's nice.
I will say this though. It's such a sleeper pick, but Shimmery Deke I love. It's in a dynasty league. If Shimmery Deke is out there on a dynasty league, get him on your lineup, put him in your taxi squad, and sit on that dude for a year. Those are my two. That's the dynasty pickup, and that's the redraft pickup. I think, like you said, you brought, and it's funny, I have it written down here too. RJ Harvey, like I think he's such a good pickup. He's that move I think could win you a fantasy league right now.
Him and Manunga have been just going straight up, and you're like, which one do I pick up? Who do I drop for them? And they've kind of taken over those number one roles. I'm interested to see the matchups this weekend in total NFL are going to really define this season on who's good and who isn't.
There's a lot of good matchups. It's a big week.
We hit past week 10. We're on the home stretch, and there's a lot of good games this weekend. I mean, I did our pick'ems this week, and I was just like, damn, this is a hard decision.
I looked at them. I couldn't fill them out yet because I'm like,
it was a tough decision. I'm like, Broncos, Chiefs. You got Eagles. It's a hard one.
It is. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. This was fun. Obviously, we'll do this again. You guys will see JB more. Appreciate it.
Yeah, come follow us on the Game Set Mash as well.
Yeah,
Todd
Mash
and I and Chris.
Well.
Yep.
Sweet. Well, this is Booze and Bong. Good luck to all. Oh wait, I can't sign off with no bourbon in my glass.
No, you can't sign off with no bourbon.
Boozy podcast is this shit.
It's a bourbon podcast and sports. No, the bourbon takes precedence.
It does. Well, the official sign
Cheers, y'all.
this is
cheers, buddy.
Tuka Nuka.
Tuka Nuka.